guys, it's me, Charmise, and I wanted to do my first content video of the year, and I'm super excited to share it with you all. Today's topic is going to be prolonged adolescence. It's something that I feel really strongly about, and it's something that I've had conversations with youth about, different parents, and just it's been an all-around hot topic for me because I feel so strongly about it based on my own experiences. Keep in mind that I do have notes that I will be referring to. They're a little bit below, so I will be looking down periodically. So let's get started. Now, adolescence is that period of time between puberty and when a child is developing into an adult. So it's a noun and it's defined as the period following the onset of puberty which a young person develops from a child into an adult. And prolonged. Prolonged is defined, it's a verb, as to extend the duration of. So ultimately, prolonged adolescence is extending the duration of a child developing into an adult. Okay, so for me, I feel so strongly about prolonged adolescence because I didn't really have that opportunity to prolong it. I went to college from Los Angeles to Georgia, Atlanta. When I was 17, I started school on my 18th birthday, and because my mother was so far, a lot of times I had to figure things out by myself. So I would always call her and communicate, but ultimately I had to practice my independence and implement all the things that my mother taught me to do and told me to do because I had no one else to do them for me. I also tell a lot of people about when I went home one summer and my mother had turned my bedroom into an office and I did not have a bedroom. So I think about if I had went back to LA after graduation and kind of just stuck around at my mom's, where would I be? I think about all that coddling and how I probably just could have taken a moment to chill, and those moments of chill could have prevented me from, pursuing my dreams or doing some of the things that I'm doing now. So I definitely feel like prolonged adolescence interferes with a couple things, and those things are independence, life skills, resourcefulness, view of society, finances, and real-world scenarios. So I feel like prolonged adolescence interferes with independence because ultimately, if you are depending on a parent for more than a roof over your head, finances, paying of bills, assisting with, insurance or things like that, ultimately you are not independent, you are dependent. And a lot of times when people go home after college or while they're in between stages of figuring things out, I feel like it's important to have, that time frame, because once you have been there for so long, you might stick around, or you might have forgotten the path that you're trying to be on. So in the midst of staying at home and being comfortable and ultimately not having to take on those responsibilities that most adults have to do, you're not as independent as you should be at the age that it's expected, ultimately. Life skills. I feel like as an adult, you have to have certain skills and you're responsible for certain things. And again, if you are dependent on a parent or that parent is not forcing you or pushing you into some of those things, then you may fall short as you get older. Funny story. I took forever to figure out that I wanted to work. And my mom and I were dropping my sister off, or so I thought. We were dropping her off for a job interview at the Santa Monica Pier, and I thought me and my mom was just going to go kick it. But my mother made me get out the car. And she was like, go in, interview, see if you can get a job. I was like, okay. So I did, and that was my first job, but it wasn't my choice. Obviously, my mother didn't, physically kick me out of the car, but she did encourage me to step into that realm. I was like 17 years old, and I was excited once I did get the job and start making my own money and spending my own money. But it's a life skill that I learned at 17 because my mother was like, get out of the car, get a job. I don't feel like every parent is like, don't work, I'll give you money. But there are some parents who coddle their children for all of those needs. And I think that as a child gets older, your child, when I say child, I mean child, not like a baby. But as a child gets older, there are certain things that are to be expected, or certain things they should at least be able to do, or certain things that they should at least be able to conceptualize because they've experienced it, they've seen it, they've heard it, they've tried it. You know what I mean? So, resourcefulness. I love talking about resourcefulness because oftentimes I still feel like a poor college student because sometimes you just have to make it work. But if all of your needs are being taken care of by someone else, you don't feel the need to be resourceful. As an adult, sometimes I have to say, I can take care of this right now, but I will do this later. Or you can, I always talk about snowballing debt. That's a way to be resourceful. I definitely love couponing. That's a way to be resourceful. Cutting down costs as much as you can. Taking a lunch if you can. Like, there are certain things in life that you learn to do to just make sure that you're good. And I'm not going to say that someone who is living with their parents or is experiencing prolonged adolescence may not be as resourceful, but sometimes they just don't have to. They don't have to because they've got infinite choices and all of their needs are being taken care of, if that makes sense. I'm going to tie two together because I talked about view of society and real world scenarios. So I feel like if you are experiencing prolonged adolescence, sometimes you don't see the world for what it is. And the world's not easy. And, there will be rejection. There will be times where you can't do things, you can't afford things, you can't have things. You will have bad run-ins with people. And someone experiencing prolonged adolescence will have a parent or may have a parent that mitigates all of those real-world experiences, prevent their child from having a view. Have you ever met someone who appeared to be sheltered? And when they get out in the world, they're like, what's going on? Right. Because they don't see the world for what it is because they've been coddled and they've been pacified. And again, this is my opinion, so I don't want to come off to be a certain way, but I feel like you have to see the world for what it is. You have to have some of those experiences. I had a lot of culture shock when I moved from Los Angeles to Georgia. I got to see different things. I grew up in a melting pot, and to see not so much diversity and to see people be mean and rejecting and, stereotyping me as someone from California. You experience a lot of different things, but I was there on my own. I could call my mother and tell her about it, but I was forced to face those situations head on. And I think that that's super important. Real world scenarios, you just want to dip a big toe in there and, see what sticks, but preventing a youth from doing that as a parent because you're protecting them or trying to help them figure things out. Ultimately, as much as you are helping, you're also hurting or hindering those experiences. I always feel like it's important to fumble but not fall. A little bit of fumble can't hurt anybody. The last thing I wanted to talk about for things that I feel like prolonged adolescence interfering with is finances. I definitely feel like you have to get a hold of finances at an early age, as early as possible. But if you're living at home and not forced to have any financial responsibility, and I know some 20-somethings that didn't have any financial responsibility, not even a car note, not even a phone bill. If you don't have those responsibilities, when you do get out on your own, you're really going to botch it. Certain things are better through experience, and I definitely feel like finance is one of them. Many people get into a lot of credit card debt or don't know how to manage the money that they are making. A lot of people, live beyond their means. It's crazy out here. But the sooner you practice your independence and start to hone those skills, the better off that you'll be. I definitely feel like there's a difference between leaning on your parents and depending on your parents. I'm 33 years old, so I definitely lean on my mom. I love to consult with her about a lot of the decisions that I still make as an adult, but I would never depend. One of the things that I always talk about is practicing your independence, and I am independent, and I know that my mother would be there to catch me. She is a safety net. A parent is a safety net, especially a mom, but I'm independent, and I love learning and showing my mother that, hey, I got it, So being dependent on a parent or guardian is counterproductive in my opinion, and ultimately that's what I want to talk about. So if you are a parent and your child is, in between phases or trying to figure things out, I would encourage you to give a little push, give a little resistance. The coddling, to me, is what is the prolonged part. It's important to have real world conversations and just encourage. I I remember when I took my little sister Michaela, I took her to the college fair. And every time we went to a booth, I would push her and take a step back. Let her talk for herself. Let her ask those questions. And in between, I'm giving her encouragement and telling her, hey, make sure you ask this, make sure you do that. But I still made sure to push her and take a step back. As a parent, and I've only had my child for 2 years. As a parent, I feel like it's super important to take a step back and let your child have those experiences. Continue to be a safety net. Continue to help when you can, if you can. But I think it's important to let your child see the world for what it is, practice their independence, have those experiences so they can be a real adult in the world on their own. That's my take on prolonged adolescence, and I was super excited to verbally get it out. I would love to continue the conversation. If you have any comments, please comment below. Please share this video. I think it's super important to have these kind of conversations, and I still see a lot of prolonged adolescence. At working at Fort Gordon, a lot of my coworkers were, between like 40 and 60 years old. So I'm hearing stories about the things that they're doing for their kids at certain ages. And my wheels are churning, So I definitely feel like it's a very important conversation to have. I'm not an SME. I've had my own experiences and I love to share them with others. So I would love to continue the conversation. And please remember to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you so much. Have a great day.